coast. Well, probably not because we're in the upstate. But there is a very important little note behind that sad attempt of a joke because night 3, it is night 3 of my Oktoberfest live special this week. And the beer here is from Coast Brewing. And I have extra appropriate glassware, although people will probably yell at me because it is plastic. Sorry. But, as you can see, it is actually an Oktoberfest glass. Oktoberfest time. Received from the 2021 Greer Oktoberfest when the Nutmeg brand was such a young bibby. A bibby in this grand scheme of beer reviewers and beer influencers and the like. So, Coast, and you might even say that I was quite the bargain hunter when I grabbed all these Oktoberfest from my local bottles because yet again, $2.99. Anything again like $2.99 for 16 ounce, great deal. $2.99 for 12 ounce. That should be pretty standard what it costs. So, and interestingly enough, this one, now if you remember, we had the Marzen beer from Westbrook, which I'm thinking, based on the name, and of course after I poured it, was fairly dark. So I figured, okay, it's definitely a Marzen. And then as I smelled it and tasted it and got all the notes, it kind of tasted more like a Festbier. So then the gears started to turn. I was like, maybe this was supposed to be something of a hybrid between the two Oktoberfest styles. A little bit Marzen, a little bit Festbier. And then if you remember, in the last live, we did Oktoberfest by Legal Remedy. And that one didn't really claim to be either Oktoberfest style, so it was just completely up to interpretation, I suppose, on my part when I reviewed it. And I wound up with the determination or estimation that it was, in my eyes, if my assumption was correct from Westbrook's beer, that the Legal Remedy beer was probably the execution of what the Westbrook beer was probably supposed to be. So this one, ironically enough, does say right on the can which Oktoberfest style it is, and you'll see it right there. Festbier. So Coastoberfest. Coast Brewing's Coastoberfest is supposed to be a Festbier. It is 6% on the nose. So a nice, solid, hefty gravity for a Festbier. And the can, as you can see, is kind of sweating big time, which is only 79. It's under 80 degrees, so it's not particularly balmy out here. And I'm not sure if this is the Coast Brewing brewery or tap room or what have you, but it kind of looks like it might be a little bit of an ode to their on-site presence. And, of course, it's got all the little blue and white checkered flags in front, as is normally seen on Oktoberfest. There's a little blue flag on top. I've not been to Coast, honestly, but I don't remember the last Coast beer. Oh, wait. Yeah, here's an easy answer. I was going to guesstimate what that was their logo. It's the same logo on the bottom of the can. So that's on that little itty bitty flag up on top of the building. So yes, that is the flag of the Coast. That 2007. Well, Coast is kind of an OG, so it doesn't surprise me that it's been around that long. It's just pretty fresh, actually. It's funny. It says batch 2024, which you think, wait, what? 2024? But the date on the bottom is 8/19/25. So it's just over a month old. Not that I'm super concerned about age with a lager. But, or maybe a Festbier is an ale, is it? It could be an ale. I think it's a lager, though. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if I am. But, 8/19, so just over a month old. So fresh, no matter how you slice it. Brewed in can, covered by the label, but I see North Charleston. So it's in that North Charleston, Somerville area. Coast Brewing Company, malty, sweet, and toasty with a touch of hop bitterness. A traditionally brewed lager beer. Bro, see, I was right. It's a lager. Yeah, I knew it. I know what I'm talking about. Jeez. All right, so Coastoberfest. given the fact that my fingers are going to get clammy and shrivel up like prunes from all the condensation, let's get right into it and give our ode to one flight down, as we usually do with a shiplock. Pretty good. Oh, goodness. All right, sorry. Normally I put the pour up by the camera, but I had to get the show on the road a little bit quicker there. All right, I can already tell. Now, if you remember those previous two lives, not lies, I don't lie, lives, the color threw me off with those two because they were both more that darker hue, which made me think Martzen, and of course one started off with that type of name, and one had no declared style whatsoever. So I was just going off the color, and I was expecting it to be more like a Martzen because of their darker hue. This one claimed to be a Festbier, and as you can see, well, maybe it may not look as maybe it looks a little darker on camera possibly, but for me, if I hold it up to the natural light, to me this is a lot lighter color. Now there is a cloudiness to it, so it's not clear. It's not a clear Festbier, but it's definitely a lot. I'll try it again. I think that probably looks a lot darker on camera than what I'm seeing. But if I hold it to the natural light, that is a lot lighter hue than I saw with those previous two Oktoberfest. The one's from Westbrook and one's from Legal Remedy. And even like pouring out of the can, you can kind of see it's a little more lighter colored, a light, very, very light orange, not remotely close to amber. There's a little bit left. I'd like to get it in the stock. Burp the baby. Alright. Put that down. Coastoberfest. I mean, it does look a little darker on camera, but I think it still probably looks lighter if you were to watch those other two lives, there we go again, lives, not lies. You may be able to see the difference in color. It's definitely, it's absolutely, and if you can't, just take my word for it. I'm not lying. It's definitely a much lighter hue, considerably lighter hue than those previous two. It does have a considerably whiter head too. That's borderline diaper white right there. Okay. Now the aroma does stack up well to those other two beers. One that was, I asked my estimates to be a hybrid between the two, and it came off more Festbier, and the other one, which may have been a hybrid of the two, but it had notes of both. This is a very similar aroma to both. That got that more like kind of grain-based type of aroma. Oh, I see someone hanging out with me. Jump in on the comments below. Let me know what you think. If you've had Coastoberfest by Coast Brewing, or what your favorite Martzen's, Festbiers, and Oktoberfest of the like are. I will say, though, with the aroma, there's also a little bit of a lemony fruitiness to it, which is interesting. Not quite what I was expecting from a fest, where I'm expecting just floral, herbal, that sort of thing. But there is that lemony fruitiness, almost borderline shandy, and it's pretty strong. So it's very much overtaking the kind of grain bill, yeast, malty kind of notes you would otherwise expect. Well, head's gone down enough to dive through that, and let's do just that. I hope everyone out there has a beer in front of them too, especially if it's an Oktoberfest. Since tis the season, Oktoberfest is coming to a close this week. Cheers, everyone. What I will say, so I got very little to no malty sweetness on Westbrook's Martzen beer. I did get some malty sweetness on Legal Remedies Law Oktoberfest. This one I get none. So it's selling itself as a Festbier, and it's coming through in every bit as a Festbier. It's tastes more like that malt grain beer flavored beer type of Oktoberfest. There's no malty sweetness. There's absolutely no caramel in this at all. So if your Oktoberfest preferences are more in line with Fest beers than Martins, this is a good option because this is stacking up exactly the way a Fest beer should. And there is that little bit of that lemony note though in the aroma. It is there a little bit in the flavor. It's not super strong, but it is there and it is fairly noticeable-ish. It's just in the flavor. It's a lot more what's shining through and I don't want to say dominating the flavor, but what's kind of living up to its billing. What's being the star of this beer in the flavor is definitely more of that malt based, grain based, that sort. And for a body, and you can kind of tell, just from that cloud on there, from a body it's not particularly thick by any stretch of imagination, but it's not that super thin type of lager body either. For a body like this, to have a little bit more heft to it, it's no less crushable. It's very, very smooth, very light drinking. It's got enough of a body to hey, here, boom, I'm here. But it's still nice, light, crushable, very, very good. So solid job, Coast. Then, shoot, I should get Coast beers more often. I see them all the time because they've apparently been around since 2007. So I see them all the time, but I just, not very often choose to grab them. Maybe I should try some more Coasts more often. So that's what I got. Night 3 of Oktoberfest Live. If you hopped on in the middle, go back and catch the rest of the video when I end the live and catch the 2 lives from the previous nights if you missed those as well. We'll do the rundown again. The Westbrook Martzen beer, the Legal Remedy Oktoberfest, and now Coast Brewing's Coastoberfest Fest beer. And I got 2 more to wrap up the week. Cheers, everyone. As Paul from PA Brew News says, watch that finger. Woo!